Disney Pixar Monsters Inc. Read Out Loud Storybook. Disney Pixar Monsters Inc. Read Out Loud Storybook. Hold it. Screams and scares. A little boy lay in bed fast asleep. Suddenly, his eyes popped open. What was that sound? Squeak went the closet door. But when the boy sat up, he saw the door was shut. With a sigh, he settled back into bed. Suddenly, a dark shadow loomed over his bed. It was a monster. Ah! Screamed the boy. Ah! Screamed the monster. Lights flashed. The little boy and his room weren't real after all. This was a training room at Monsters Inc., where new employees learned the scarers. Miss Flint, the instructor, was clearly unhappy. She pointed to the closet door. Leaving a door open is the worst mistake any employee can make because it could let in a child. Mr. Waternoose, the CEO of Monsters Inc., finished the sentence. Monsters thought children, even their toys and clothes, were very dangerous. Still, monsters needed kids because their screams made energy. So every night, scarers entered the human world through kids' closet doors to collect scream energy. It was a risky job. Waternoose sighed. These new scarers needed a lot of help. Meanwhile, top scarer James P. Sullivan and his friend and assistant Mike Wagowski were on the way to work. Mike stopped in front of his car. "Okay, Sully, hop on in," Mike said. "Nope," Sully replied. "There's a scream shortage." Mike's car ran on scream fuel, and monsters were collecting fewer screams than ever before.
Next one.
I'll see you at, When they walked into Monsters Inc., Sully stopped to chat with his girlfriend Celia. It was her birthday, so he told her he was going to take her to dinner at her favorite restaurant. "I'll see you at 5:01 and not a minute later," Mike said before heading to the locker room. As Mike sat by his locker getting ready for work, a creepy monster oozed out of the shadows. "Wagowski," the monster said mockingly. Mike shrieked. It was Randall, another scarer and Sully's biggest rival. "I'm in the zone today," Randall bragged, "going to be doing some serious scaring." Mike wasn't worried about Randall beating Sully's record, but he was worried about Roz getting annoyed with him. Roz was the monster in charge of paperwork, and Mike was sometimes careless about turning in his reports. "I'm watching you, Wazowski," Roz warned sternly as Mike hurried past her.
When he reached the scare floor, Mike joined the other assistants. Then the scarers, including Sully, arrived and started getting ready for the day's work. Soon, the scarers started jumping in and out of doors, collecting screams. Sully and Mike were having a great day. Sully even captured a big bunch of screams at a slumber party, but not everyone had such good luck. One monster returned in shock from a child's door. He had failed to scare the child inside. That door was quickly shredded. A kid who wasn't afraid of monsters simply wouldn't provide any scream energy.
Next one.
Kids these days, they just don't get scared like they used to, Waternoose mumbled as he watched. Suddenly, a scarer named George emerged from a door. He had a child's sock stuck to his back. 2319, his assistant screamed. Alarms sounded. Agents from the CDA, the Child Detection Agency, rushed to decontaminate George and blow up the toxic sock.
Next one.
Next one. At the end of the day, Mike was getting ready to meet Celia when he realized something. Oh no, my scare reports. I left them on my desk, he cried. Sully offered to take care of the paperwork so Mike wouldn't be late for his date. But when Sully walked back onto the empty scare floor, he noticed something odd. One kid's door hadn't been put away. Sully peeked warily through the door. Hello? Is anybody scaring in here?
Next one.
Next one. Boo! As Sully returned to leave, he heard thump. He turned around and saw a little girl clinging to his tail. Ah! He screamed in terror. The kid was touching him. The girl giggled. Kitty, she said to this big furry monster.
Next one.
Next one. Sully knew he had to do something. The kid was dangerous. He tried to put her back in her room. He tripped and ended up covering with kid stuff. Sully raced to the locker room and got rid of the girl's toys. Then he realized she was hanging on his back. Sully put the girl in a gym bag and ran back to the scare floor. Just then Randall showed up. Sully had watched in horror as Randall set the kid's door to the vault. Now, how could Sully put the girl back in her room?
Next one.
Next one. Meanwhile, Mike and Celia were enjoying a romantic meal. You know, I was just thinking about the first time I laid eye on you. How pretty you looked, Mike cooed. Just then Sully appeared at the window. Sully came inside and sat down. Hi guys, he said, setting this bag under the table. Look in the bag, he whispered to Mike.
Next one.
Next one. When Mike looked, the bag wasn't there. Ah, someone yelled from across the restaurant. A kid, a human kid. Boo, a voice cried with a giggle. Sully gasped. It was the kid. He just tried to grab her as everyone in the restaurant screamed and ran for the exit. Within minutes, the CDA swarmed the restaurant. Mike wanted to get Celia, but he needed to help Sully sneak away with the girl. Back at home, they tried to figure out what to do. They dressed in protective gear to stay safe from the girl as she happily explored the apartment.
They were terrified of her. When she cried, the lights flashed. When she laughed, they flashed even brighter. Finally, the girl got tired and climbed into Sully's bed, but she wouldn't go to sleep. She pointed to the closet door and showed Sully a picture she had drawn. "Hey, that looks like Randall," Sully said. Suddenly he understood Randall was the girl's assigned monster. She was scared of him. To comfort her, Sully showed her that the closet was empty. No monster there. When the girl finally fell asleep, Sully watched her for a few minutes. She didn't look very dangerous at all.
Turn the page.
Turn the page. The next day, Sully and Mike disguised the girl as the monster child and returned to Monsters, Inc. They helped to find her door and sent her home before anyone found out she was there, but the company was crawling with CDA agents. "Don't panic," Sully whispered to Mike when Waterloo stopped them in the lobby. Sully made his way to the locker room with Mike and the girl. Then Mike raced off to find the card key for the girl's door. Sully played with her while they waited. "Boo," the girl cried happily as she ran around playing hide and seek. Just as Mike returned, Randall entered the men's room. The friends hid while Randall asked his assistant, Fungus, about the girl and said something about a machine. What were they talking about? Sully wondered out loud after Randall left, but there was no time to think about it. He and Mike had to get the girl back through her door right away. None of the other monsters noticed that anything was wrong as Mike and Sully took the girl to the scare floor, but there was a problem. Mike had the wrong key. "Mike, this isn't Boo's door," Sully protested. Mike was shocked that Sully had named the girl. "Once you name it, you start getting attached to it," he exclaimed. While they bickered, Boo slipped away. Sully and Mike looked everywhere for Boo. Suddenly, Celia appeared and cornered Mike. She was very angry about their ruined dinner. Randall overheard them and grinned. He realized Mike had been at the restaurant and must know about the kid. Once Celia had left, Randall grabbed Mike. He told him to bring Boo to the scare floor during lunch when everyone else would be gone, and he would have her door. Next one. Sully was still looking for Boo when he spotted a piece of her costume in the trash compactor. Tearfully, Sully picked up the cube of trash, fearing the worst. Just then, he heard a familiar voice. Boo was alive. She was with a group of monster kids. "Kitty," Boo called. When she saw Sully, she giggled, which made her lights flicker and pop. The other monsters in the hall cried out in fright. Sully had to get Boo back to her door. Randall's secret. "Come on," cried Mike, leading Sully and Boo to the scare floor. When they got there, Mike raced over to Boo's door. "There it is," Mike cried, just like Randall said. But Sully didn't trust Randall, so Mike jumped onto the bed to prove it was safe. Sully watched in horror as someone caught Mike in a trap. It was Randall. There they discovered Randall's terrible secret. He had created a giant machine to capture... Oh, at the beginning. Thinking he had trapped Boo, Randall raced off with the box. Now Sully had to rescue Mike. He and Boo followed Randall through a hidden door. There they discovered Randall's terrible secret. He had created a giant machine to capture scream energy. He wanted to use Boo and other human children to test it. Mike was already in the chair and Randall was going to turn it on any moment. Sully managed to rescue Mike from Randall. "Follow me," Sully cried. "I have an idea." Sully went straight to Water News, the most trusted monster at Monsters, Inc., to get some help. Water News was shocked to see Boo. "It's not our fault, it's Randall," Mike told Water News, and Sully tried to comfort a frightened Boo. But Water News already knew all about Randall's evil scheme. He quickly grabbed a Boo. Then with Randall's help, he banished Sully and Mike to a snowy wasteland in the human world by pushing them through a one-way door. There, Sully and Mike met the abominable snowman. He had been banished years ago. Sully was able to use some supplies from his cave to make a sled. Sully offered Mike a ride, but Mike refused, blaming him for the mess they were in. On his own, Sully found his way to a human village and burst back into the monster world through a child's closet door. He reached Randall's machine just in time to see Boo being strapped into it. "Kitty," Boo cried. As soon as she saw Sully, Sully smashed the machine and grabbed the little girl. As Sully escaped with Boo, Mike suddenly caught up with them. He had realized he was angry with Sully, but not angry enough to lose his friend. Together they raced to the scare floor with Randall in hot pursuit. When a crowd of monsters got in Randall's way, Mike and Boo jumped onto the door conveyor system and tried to make their way towards Boo's door. But her door kept moving away from them. The friends simply needed more power to help them reach Boo's door. Sully had an idea. He asked Mike to make Boo laugh. Her laughter created enough energy to power up all the doors. Sully and Mike took Boo and ran. Randall chased them in and out of kids' closet doors all over the world. Finally, Mike and Sully managed to kick Randall through a door and smash it. Randall was gone for good. But now Water News was after them. While Mike distracted the CDA, Sully took Boo and ran. Water News chased them right through Boo's door into her room. Sully tried to convince Water News to let Boo go, but Water News refused. He said he'd bring 1,000 kids into the monster world to end the scream shortage and save monsters. Little did he know he was really in the scarers' training room. The CDA was watching, and Mike had taped every shocking word Water News had said. The friends learned that the CDA had been investigating Monsters, Inc. for years, and the head of the investigation was Roz. Roz gave Sully some time to tuck Boo into her own bed. Sully knew that Boo would be safe, but he also knew that her door would be shredded and he'd never see her again. "Goodbye, Boo," he said softly as he turned to leave. From that day on, Monsters, Inc. was a different company. As Sully had discovered, kids' laughter was much more powerful than their screams. Instead of scaring children, the monsters made them laugh. The energy crisis was over. Mike became one of the top laugh collectors, and Sully was the company's new president, but he still missed Boo. Then one day, Mike surprised him. He rebuilt Boo's door so Sully could visit her. Boo! Kitty! The end. Bring the magic home. Collect them all. It's Sully. The end.